Everybody's calling MiniMax H3 the budget king of AI video, and I spent the last week genuinely trying to poke holes in that claim. H3 claims native 2K video at a price that undercuts the competition. Does the data back that up, or is it just cheap? Let's find out. Charge 1, cost per second. You're generating a 60-second product reel and the bill comes back way higher than you planned because the model charges more per second than you realized. Seedance runs about 0.24 a second at 720p, so a 60-second job is roughly $14.40, and H3 claims it does the same job for less. So let's see if the numbers actually check out. One of the biggest problems I run into when using AI agents is turning their output into YouTube content I can actually use to market my product. That's why this video is sponsored by Subscriber, a tool that helps business owners connect their AI agents to YouTube and market their products without spending 10 hours every week creating content. You can connect Claude or ChatGPT directly to Subscriber. It then analyzes your business, website, and YouTube channel to help you create SEO-optimized video ideas, scripts, thumbnails, and even complete videos that actually match your brand. What I like most is that every week, Subscriber gives me a list of high-potential video ideas I can immediately execute, and it can even help edit videos for me, with or without my face, including videos like the one you're watching right now. It's easy to get started, and you can try Subscriber for free using the link in the description below. Now back to the video. I pulled up the official MiniMax model page, and here's what's on the screen. H3 at native 2K costs 14 cents per second, while Seedance runs a quarter per second at 720p, which is community reported, not from an official Seedance page. Drop H3 to 768p, and it falls to 0.10 a second, less than half the Seedance rate, and you're getting more pixels for less money, which is a real gap. This charge is dismissed. H3 delivers native 2K at 14 cents a second, which beats Seedance at 720p, and that cost per pixel advantage is verified on the official model page. One of one claims holding up so far, and the gap is bigger than the headline number makes it look because you're comparing 2K output against 720p. I've been living inside these AI video tools long enough that pricing pages are basically muscle memory at this point. So drop a comment below if the per second billing model has ever caught you off guard. Charge 2, resolution and output specs. A creator ships a brand video, delivers it to the client zooms in on the product shot, and sees compression artifacts because the model topped out at 720p. H3 says it renders native 2K at 2560 by 1440, 24 frames per second, with stereo audio baked in during the same pass, which is a bold spec sheet, so let's see if it holds. I went through the spec sheet on the official model page, and here's what I found. H3 outputs native 2K, a full step above Seedance's ceiling of 720p on fast mode and 1080p on standard, and the stereo audio in the same inference pass is a feature Seedance doesn't claim at all, though I'd note Seedance's full spec sheet isn't as detailed in the sources I went through. Charge dismissed again. H3's native 2K with built-in stereo audio is a spec win that's verified, not just marketing copy. 2 of 2 charges holding up, and the stereo audio piece is the one I didn't expect, because most tools make you add that in post. Charge 3, prompt accuracy and character consistency. You're running a character through 9 reference images and 3 video clips, and the model drifts on the face or ignores a costume detail halfway through the scene. H3 claims strong instruction following and consistent character rendering across complex multi-reference inputs, and that's a vendor claim, not a benchmark score. So I want to know how much weight it actually carries. Both models accept the same reference limits, 9 images, 3 video clips, 3 audio tracks, so the input flexibility is a wash. Where H3 pulls ahead on the scorecards is instruction following. 8.5 versus Seedance's 7.5, but I have to be straight with you. That delta comes from vendor claims and multi-source reviews, not an independent head-to-head benchmark with identical prompts. The gap here is real, but directional, not lab verified, and that matters because nobody has run the same prompt through both models at 2K and published the outputs side by side. Take the 8.5 versus 7.5 as a signal, not a hard number. Though H3's native 2K resolution does give it a structural consistency advantage, because you're starting with more pixels to work with. Charge partially dismissed. The consistency claim holds directionally, with H3 scoring higher across multiple reviews, even though an independent benchmark doesn't exist yet. 3 of 3 charges holding up, though this one's the softest of the 3. 3 charges down and all 3 are pointing H3's way, but the next 2 are the ones that could actually change your workflow decision. Motion realism is up next, and right after that, consumer GPU speed, which is the number that tells you whether that low price per second translates into a fast production pipeline or a very long wait at your desk. Charge 4, motion realism and cinematic quality. You generate a running athlete at 2K and the legs look robotic. The arms phase through the torso, and the camera move you asked for is just a static shot with a slow zoom. H3 claims improved physics, fluid limb motion, and cinematic camera control, including the ability to transfer camera moves from a reference video, which is a lot to promise. Across multiple reviews, H3 scores an 8 on complex action and physics versus Seedance's 7, and 8.5 versus 7 on cinematic camera movement, where H3's video-to-video motion transfer is a documented capability that Seedance doesn't claim. I ran through several sources to confirm this because it sounded like marketing, but the V2V camera transfer shows up consistently across independent write-ups, not just the vendor page. Seedance's motion quality is genuinely established, so the gap is smaller than the score delta suggests, and H3's edge comes from the combination of improved physics and native 2K output, not from a dramatic quality leap in isolation. That said, V2V camera transfer is a real differentiator, and at this price point, it's the kind of feature that would cost you extra almost anywhere else. Charge dismissed, H3's motion realism claim holds up with V2V camera transfer and improved physics confirmed across multiple independent sources. 4 of 4 charges dismissed so far, and that's the number that tells you whether H3 is worth it. 4 out of 4 claims delivering real value. Charge 5, consumer GPU generation speed. You're on deadline, you fire up H3 locally on your RTX 4080 Super, and you're watching a progress bar for an hour when you thought it would take 5 minutes. Community reports say roughly 4 to 4.5 minutes for a 5-second clip at 0.7 megapixels, but on a higher res setting, someone clocked 57 minutes on an RTX 5090, and that spread is a problem. I couldn't find an official MiniMax speed spec anywhere, and Seedance has no published consumer GPU figure either, so the comparison here is community reports versus nothing. The 4080 Super numbers look promising at lower resolutions, but the 57-minute figure on a 5090 at higher settings shows the variance is real and wide, and you can't build a production timeline around community chatter. This charge sticks. Speed on consumer GPUs is community reported, not verified, and a 57-minute generation time on a high-end card for one clip is a real production risk. 4 of 5 charges holding up, and speed is the one that didn't make it. MiniMax H3 genuinely shines on 3 things. Native 2K output at 14 cents per second, which undercuts Seedance on cost per pixel by a wide margin. Stereo audio generated in the same inference pass, with no post-processing needed. And video-to-video cinematic camera transfer, which lets you pull a dolly move or a zoom from a reference clip and apply it directly. Where H3 falls short is speed certainty. Consumer GPU generation times are community reported, not official, and the variance between 4 minutes and 57 minutes across different hardware and resolution settings is too wide to plan around. So if you're on a client deadline and running locally, that uncertainty is a real operational risk, not a minor footnote. Worth it if you need 2K output on a budget and you're okay planning around uncertain generation times. Skip it if your workflow depends on predictable local GPU speed. 4 of 5 charges dismissed, and the one that stuck is speed, not quality. The thing nobody's really talking about, H3's quality, claims on prompt accuracy, and character consistency, have never been independently benchmarked against Seedance, with identical prompts at matching resolutions. The LM Arena text LO of 1455 is for text, not video, and there is no video-specific leaderboard for H3 yet, so you're trusting multi-source reviews, not a controlled test. If you want to see how H3 stacks up against its closest speed competitor, the video you want is CDance 2.5 versus VO 3, which is cheaper. It runs the same cost per pixel logic on a different matchup, and the numbers get pretty interesting, so it's right there in the cards.